Let's talk about this. This is pretty crazy, isn't it? Pretty epic news here, courtesy of Twitter. Nike wins a ruling against Stockx on counterfeit sales. A New York federal court has granted Nike a partial summary judgment in their lawsuit against Stockx, confirming that Stockx has sold 37 pairs of counterfeit Nike sneakers. However, the ruling is specific to those cases and does not imply that all Nike products sold on StockX are counterfeit. The broader issues in the lawsuit, including claims of false advertising, are still going to trial. Now, this is a really big case and a big win for Nike, because there was a moment where I thought Nike were going to be forced to reveal how they can tell what shoe is real and what shoe isn't. I'm not sure how they got out of it, but I was wondering what that would look like. But this is also a reminder to everybody out there that buys sneakers, please be careful, especially on StockX. I would go as far as saying, if you miss out on a drop for sneakers on the day, like if you miss out on a drop on sneakers on the day, you're better off just missing it out completely. Don't bother even trying getting it, like, you know, on the secondary market. If you can't get it, if you enter as many raffles as possible, which is what I would advise, try your best, go on sneakers app, you know, set up a bunch of email addresses. But if you don't win it, trying to buy something second on a second-hand market, on a second market, you know, basically on fucking resale sites like StockX, you're really rolling the dice. The only way you will work is if you go to like sneaker communities. There's like pages and groups on like Facebook. I'm sure there's some pages on Instagram from collectors who'll show you receipts of the shoe and where they backdoored it from. That's the only way to do it. But if you're gonna buy blindly on StockX, I swear to God, you are playing with fire. Because nowadays, the fucking resale market, the rep market is so littered with good quality stuff, it's almost impossible to tell the difference. Like, I always wondered how they did tell the difference, because unfortunately, Nike's own quality standards are really shoddy and shit. So sometimes you look at a shoe and think it's fake, and it's not. Like, there's been occasions, I think, especially with like certain Jordan 4s, certain Jordan 1s. I think even Travis Scott 1s for the same part. There were certain Travis Scott 1s that came out of China, Shenzhen, in terms of like rep factories and stuff, that were of better quality than the retails you got from fucking Nike. Travis Scott Jordans. If you bought them from China and you could buy them for like, and the good thing I think about replicas is that even the best, no, what I like about replica market is this. There's different grades. So if you want the best grade of a replica shoe, that's basically a 1-for-1, you have to pay retail for it, essentially. By the time you calculate shipping and everything, it's basically retail. But the benefit is that you get to choose and buy them whenever you want. And there's plentiful levels of stock. But then those shoes are undiscernible from the authentic thing. Some replica sites even sell the hang tag, the little paper thing that you get from StockX, and for you to put it in your box. So if you want to resell it on StockX, they give you all the necessary documents and stuff for you to fucking scam somebody on StockX. That's how crazy the fucking replica game has got. So you can buy something with retail, get all the sizes that you want. It's usually higher quality than Nike. And if you want to resell it and run a game, you can do it because they give you the fucking StockX hang tag and everything else that goes on there. And that was a big business, something that I missed out on, and I kind of regret it, but I don't, because I'm also not the person that would get a lot of pleasure out of scamming people like that and duping them into thinking they're buying a real thing when they're not buying a real thing. But I remember during the pandemic, when everyone was bored and at home and had loads of money and didn't know what to do with it, people were buying a lot of shoes. And I remember that was one of the big hustles. People were buying shoes on StockX, so on like from China replica factories, and then flipping them on StockX for crazy amounts of money. Like, I think it was around the same time people were like hustling NFTs. People made bank off of that. Bank. And I would say there's probably a large amount of shoes on StockX right now to this day, especially stuff that isn't super limited, to this day, that's probably replicas. A bunch of stuff, a bunch of shit that's on there is probably replicas to this day. Like, I'd imagine, like, what's her name? I'd imagine a lot of that Grace Wells Bonner stuff, because a lot of that stuff has been repped. I'd imagine a lot of the Grace Wells Bonner Sambas are probably replicas on fucking StockX. Just off the top of my head, I'd imagine a bunch of Travis Scott Jordans, especially the fragment ones, are probably fucking replicas up there on StockX. It's really impossible to sort of siphon through and sift through what is real, what isn't real, which is why I do respect immensely the guys and girls out there who can sniff out, literally reps from authentic shoes, because it's almost impossible nowadays. Back in the day, it was a lot easier because reps were kind of basically like, were basically B grades in a way in terms of their quality. But nowadays it's almost impossible to discern between a real shoe and a fake shoe. So that's why if you've got money and you want to buy something, try your best to buy it on release day. Nowadays, especially, there's no excuse to miss release days. There's a bunch of pages out there you can follow, like Drop Day and Sneaker Shopping, I think, and a few other, Instagram accounts, like news accounts, like Just Fresh Kicks, sorry, Over and Under, Modern Notoriety. There's a bunch of pages you can follow. Cake Not Crumbs, all these pages, right, that always give you details and dates on what's dropping. Go on there, enter the raffles, all that sort of shit. Try and buy it in the week that it's launched. If you miss that, avoid it, because if you try and buy it again from somebody else, the likelihood of you buying a fucking replica is super high. So let's quickly read some of these court documents here, courtesy of Judge Fresh Kicks. I think it's just the first page of the lawsuit, which they I think summarized here. Let's quickly see what they say. United States District Court, Nike Inc. versus Stockx, Valerie Caparini judge. Whereas on March 4th, the parties appeared on oral argument, it is hereby ordered that on the reasons of the court set forth at oral argument, at Nike's motion of a partial summary judgment is granted to the extent it seeks a judgment that Stockx is liable for distributing counterfeit goods with respect to the 4 pairs of shoes it sold on Nike's investigation and the 33 pairs of shoes it sold to Roy Kim. Nike's motion is denied in all respects, and Stockx's motion is denied in its entirety. The clerk in the judgment respectfully directed to terminate the open case. It is further ordered that the parties must meet and confer regarding trial no later than the 13th, no later than Friday, March 14th. The parties must also file a joint letter indicating how long the expected trial will be and providing 3 mutually convenient dates of the trial between June 15th and November 15th. But no during the last week of August. The joint letter must also indicate whereas the parties like to be renewed, referral to their assigned magistrate judge for the settlement conference. So it's big news. I still want to see if StockX can force Nike to divulge how they discern between replica and fakes, personally, because that will inform a lot of people's decision-making process in terms of buying. It will also tip off the replica factories on what to look for and what to kind of try to avoid when producing replicas. I want to see that. I want to see if that's possible going forward. I doubt it, but I would love to see that if it's possible.